Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So for most of this month, we've been talking about the ongoing situation involving Sweet Baby Inc. And while I'm glad to see Valve seemingly take the side of the Steam group Sweet Baby Inc. detected because they're getting hit with false reports, there's still a lot of issues involving Steam, in particular when it involves their treatment of anime-style games. Because at this point, it is absolutely no secret that Steam cracks down very harshly on anime-style games. This is a platform where there's games like Sex with Hitler, furry adult games, and so on that aren't touched by Steam and are allowed to exist on this platform, but the second you pop out a little anime titty, all of a sudden you're in trouble and your game is likely to get banned, which has been the case for literally hundreds of anime-style games over the past couple of years. And during all this Sweet Baby Inc. drama, one situation got a little bit overshadowed, and that was the banning of an anime-style game called Order Us. So Steam bans anime-styled adult dating sim Order Us after mistaking flat-chested female character for a minor. And this is the character likely in question. As always with these situations, if you're looking at this petite adult-aged anime character and you're immediately thinking of children, that's just projection on your behalf. But in this situation, it's odd because adult games are allowed. This is an adult game. They're allowed. You look at games like Baldur's Gate 3, for example. There's full-on nude genitalia, an option for players to have sex with bears. But somehow that's allowed, but this is not allowed. Please explain to me how those things are okay, but this petite adult anime character flashing what little chest she has is somehow too far and gets the game banned. And not only banned, but based on some of the public standards shared by Steam, they are implying that this content is actually illegal, which is a very serious thing to imply, and we'll get into that later in the video. But here's a description of the game itself in case you want to know. So developed by indie game studio Argent, Order Us puts players into the role of an aspiring cafe owner with just 2 left until his grand opening. Must do his best to take his only 2 employees, the unruly Peaches and the exceptionally shy Mocha, and turn them from PR disasters waiting to happen into all-star waitresses. Of course, on the path to service industry success, the player will also find themselves developing romances with either of the 2 women, both of whom the game explicitly notes are adults, and either of which, with the proper care, can eventually blossom into something more physically intimate. Okay, sounds good. Sign me up. I know a lot of people enjoy that. But here's the unfortunate news from about 2 weeks ago. On their Twitter account, the studio Argent announces this. It is with a heavy heart that I must announce our 18-plus game Order Us has been banned on Steam 3 days prior to release. I received this message from the review team yesterday morning. A demo build had been approved several months ago without complications. And here's what the message says. So after review, we will not be able to ship your game Order Us on Steam. While we strive to ship most titles submitted to us, we found that this title features themes, imagery, or descriptions that we won't distribute. Regardless of the developer's intentions with their product, we will not distribute content that appears in our judgment to depict sexual content involving a minor. While every product submitted is unique, if your product features this representation even in a subtle way that could be defined as a gray area, it will be rejected by Steam. For example, setting your game in a high school but declaring your characters are of legal age would fall into that category to be banned. This app has been banned and cannot be reused. Resubmissions of this app, even with modifications, will not be accepted. Very harsh treatment. And of course, here are the 2 characters. There's 2 female characters in the entire game. So you have this Peaches character with the big hunkabalunkas, and then this character who's the flat one. Now, likely this is the character Mocha who is the target of this takedown. But I wouldn't even rule out this character, even with the hunkabalunkas, dude, because at this point, we've seen so much projection about anime-style characters. We've seen people unironically try to claim that the character Ilalu looks like a child from Dragon Maid, even though she's defined by her giant titties. We've seen people say that Eve from Stellar Blade looks like a child, even though she's modeled after a real-life adult human being. But focusing on the more likely suspect, we have Mocha here, an awkward wallflower in a rush to lose her firsts. Mocha is inexperienced and not what one would typically expect given her occupation. Her naivety could leave her vulnerable to certain customers and functionally useless as a service girl. A girl failure character. We love to see it. That's a great genre. But going forward, they say this in their thread, the likely character in question, Mocha, is 19 years old. It is never stated or implied she's in high school. She has a flat chest. It is slightly shorter than the other main character. She's written to be ditzy and very awkward. Traits not uncommon among people her age. Yeah, all of this is very odd because not only do we get an actual age on the character, we also know it's not in the high school setting that they're trying to imply. And if you look back to 2018, Steam made a public post trying to clarify what is allowed in their store. And they make it very clear down here what is allowed and what isn't allowed. And it seems like they are greatly contradicting this statement. So let's read this from back in 2018. It says, so we ended up going back to one of the principles in the forefront of our minds when we started Steam. And more recently, as we worked on Steam Direct to open up the store to many more developers, Valve shouldn't be the ones deciding this. If you're a player, we shouldn't be choosing for you what content you can or can't buy. If you're a developer, we should be choosing what content you're allowed. We shouldn't be choosing what content you're allowed to create. Those choices should be yours to make. Our role should be to provide systems and tools to support your efforts to make these choices for yourself and to help you do it in a way that makes you feel comfortable. And this is the very important line. With that principle in mind, we've decided that the right approach is to allow everything on the Steam store except for things that we decide are illegal or straight up trolling. So by virtue of this statement and the accompanying message sent to the studio here, they are saying and heavily implying that the content is illegal. They actually believe this adult anime character is illegal content. Absolutely wild stuff. They're massive hypocrites under the standard where they were trying to frame the image that, hey, we're very hands-off unless we literally have to be by virtue of the law. But anyways, we've seen this happen before as recently as 2022, where Chaos Head Noah was briefly banned from the Steam store, which, of course, this is a larger studio, so they were able to get a lot of uproar on social media, where eventually they got an appeal and they got the situation looked at again, where the game was allowed back on Steam. But it took that uproar, and we've seen literally hundreds. There's Google Docs tracking the hundreds of anime-style games that have been banned on Steam over the past couple of years alone. And it, I'm sure somewhere in there, maybe some of them were correctly banned for X, Y, or Z. But I would feel very confident saying out of the hundreds listed, probably a good amount of them were unfairly banned because they contain content that you find in other Western-style games that are allowed on Steam. But going forward in the thread, they say it's heartbreaking that a realistic body type has to be avoided when working with Steam, and I am completely devastated that the project has been executed so close to the finish line. Again, this was 3 days before release. I apologize to anyone who had the game wishlisted and was looking forward to its release. Despite the delayed release, Order Us will be sold on smaller distribution platforms, something that makes achieving commercial viability far more difficult. As a result, prospects for translations and future projects are looking uncertain. And I've seen some people say, oh, well, they should have known Steam is really unfair when it comes to anime, and they should have had a separate, more censored release for Steam. But I think that's a load of crap, dude. They should be able to be treated like other games on this platform, and anime-style games shouldn't be cracked down on so hardly and so unfair. They should be able to do the actual original release that they intended without having to add on extra layers of censorship because some power-hungry weirdo at Steam hates anime and projects their weird feelings about anime characters onto these developers and bans their games. But this is a pretty good comment summing up some of the frustrations of people interested in purchasing this game. This user said, "It's crazy that body shaming like this is considered acceptable at Steam. Here's a game that I spent my time and money on to make, and I would like to sell it on the only PC game store that you can make a real profit on. No. Why? One of those drawings looks like a minor based on my personal judgment, but it's not? No. Okay, what if I change the drawing? No. But other games on Steam are? No. I mean, that's pretty much the process here. Also, keep in mind, they were not given the option to appeal. This is a final decision. It is the one look, and you're done. And you get no reapplication. You can't even edit anything. You can't fix things, censor things. You are done. This title is done. No appeal. That's how harsh it is. It's absolutely crazy. But moving forward, there was an update on March 1st. So they say update today was supposed to be our launch on Steam, but our game was banned 3 days prior to release. Instead, Order Us is now available for sale on itch. And going forward, I am also working to get the game on several alternative storefronts. Expect updates over the next few weeks. Thank you for everyone leaving positive comments and helping spread the word. Your support is extremely appreciated. In spite of attempts to contact higher-ups at Steam, I have not received more than automated responses. It is safe to say we've been left in the dark, likely deemed not important enough for a human to step in. The months I spent directing traffic to Steam have been wasted. And that's the really sad part, because these studios are smaller and they're unlikely to get the attention of someone like Steam. They just say, oh, you're a smaller company, you're not going to make as much money for us as larger studios. We just don't care. And also they assume that you won't be able to get enough of an uproar on Twitter and other social media platforms because their accounts are smaller. I mean, this official account for the studio only has a few hundred followers, and I would imagine they've gained some of it due to the outrage surrounding the ban of this game. But it's really unfortunate. Steam's just walking all over these people. And as someone with a decently sized channel and reach, even I feel pretty helpless in terms of providing any sort of relief to someone like this. I don't have anyone I can contact at Steam. And honestly, even if I did, I doubt they would even pretend to care. It's an unfortunate situation when these smaller companies are being taken advantage of like this or mistreated like this. And they go on to say, at the end of the day, I'm most upset that Steam's decision cannot be appealed. There is no possibility of making changes now or ever to get Order Us on Steam. Having lost access to the largest player base of PC gamers, we will struggle to break even. Let this be another painful reminder that the time, money, and passion you put into a project over years can be killed in an instant, depending on how a reviewer is feeling that day. And that is very well said. If a Starbucks employee effed up Mary's coffee that morning, your livelihood is now at stake. Unironically true. I think it really only takes one person at Steam who's reviewing these games to be having a bad day or to have a stick up their ass when it comes to anime style games, and you're in big trouble. Like, if you have one person who has it out for you, or your general medium that you're in trouble on Steam, because that's all it takes, and you're unlikely to ever get an appeal or to ever get enough attention for Steam to take a second look at this situation. But there's some relatively good news. Order Us is now available on JAS USA, I believe that's J-List's set of games, and Kagra Games. Huge thank you to everyone who has helped spread the word of the situation. Representatives from both ended up reaching out to me directly due to the attention the story was getting, because some other people have already covered this, which is very great of those people who try to share this message already. And yes, those are 2 more locations that you can get this game. But overall, this game just looks like a banger. Your classic sim here, and I know a lot of people will enjoy this. And of course, Mocha, best girl already. Even though there's only 2, I've planted my flag in the ground. Mocha, best girl. No takesy backsies for me. But anyways, if you're interested in this game and if you're 18 plus, go ahead. I will provide a link to their Twitter account in the description of this video, and you can check out all of their other relevant links there and where to purchase the game and all of that stuff. But overall, help spread the message, whether it's this video or their Twitter account, their threads, and let's see if we can help them out. Like I said, I don't know what kind of influence someone like me or other YouTubers covering this can do when it comes to getting something out of Steam directly, but maybe some more attention triggers someone who knows someone or gets more interest from other platforms that can host and sell this game. And that would be a great thing. We love to help out people like this in a situation as unfortunate as this. And, we appreciate the hard work small developers like this put into their games. And really, that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.